I
Talk about
really want to play this
me.
clip.
Talk about
I'm
me,
I'm sure you
Chrissy.
guys are familiar
Talk
with
about me.
Carrie Smith, who's been on the show, and there's this girl that I know is sort of professionally has made it her full-time job to hate on Carrie Smith. That's how I first heard of her.
No, Chrissy, wrong, incorrect. Your BFF, Carrie Smith, is a psychopath who has been attacking me and smearing me for 2 years. So it makes perfect sense, Chrissy, that Carrie would be attracted to someone like you and that you would be attracted to someone like Carrie because you're both raging fucking morons who are completely unhinged from reality.
I've seen that chick on Twitter and seen some of the
Hi.
shit she's been saying. It doesn't make any sense.
I hadn't. So this is.
I am deeply offended that a blonde girl who complained about doing her menial job opening a gym at 4 a.m. just doesn't think that what I say makes sense. I am deeply, deeply offended. This is already living up to exactly what I thought it would be.
Karlyn B.
No.
Poroshenko.
No.
She is
Wrong.
running for governor of New Hampshire
Yes.
as a libertarian.
Yes.
And here is a clip of her getting into a screaming match with I don't know who this is. Okay, Don Baldock, who is.
I don't know who this is. I don't know. I just don't know who the Senate candidate from New Hampshire is because you know, I only grift from conservatives by showing my tits. I don't actually know anything or talk about. It just doesn't politics just politics just doesn't make sense to me. I'd much rather just show you my boobs and take your money for that because really that was what I was equipped to do in this world is just do that. And so I'm just so confused. Like what's a senator? What's a senator, guys? What like is that different from president? What is he running for? It's really I don't understand. Am I being a good influencer yet? Is that how people are influencers? I mean, is it which branch is the Senate in again? Is it the Supreme Court? Why is she commenting on politics if she doesn't care about politics?
I guess also a
See, okay.
Republican
Hang on.
Senate.
No.
Oh, yeah. And she's
she's a Republican for Senate. Okay. So here's what's about to happen. I'm going to tell you on Twitter exactly what's going to happen because apparently CHRISSIE MAYR got swatted tonight. And so I guarantee you before the night is out, there's going to be some tweet on Twitter to the effect of, I just can't believe that Karlyn would do this stream about how intelligent and influential CHRISSIE MAYR is on the night she got swatted. It was just so inconsiderate. Karlyn is such a bitch to have planned this stream specifically on the same night that CHRISSIE got swatted. It was just so inconsiderate of her. Just it's more proof that she's a narcissist and she's an evil person. And it must have been a pre-planned event, not based on her schedule or anything, because she actually has a job, unlike, us.
During a Tulsi Gabbard, I guess this is after a Tulsi Gabbard.
By the way, the Republicans yelled at me. I yelled at Tulsi. Ukraine, don't hold up for all of us.
You're really not a Tulsi Gabbard supporter.
I'm not even yelling. For the record, I'm not even yelling.
You're a player. You're not a Tulsi Gabbard supporter. Yeah, she's a player, man. You're a player.
Dude, do you guys note that I have 3 Republicans yelling at me and I was just standing there? Oh, I'm yelling there. I yelled there. Yes. We did get stuck with Maggie.
Wow.
I claim full credit. And we did get stuck with Maggie. Oh, boo-hoo, too bad, so sad. Don Bulldog lost by 11 points.
This is like such an embarrassment for libertarians everywhere. Also,
this is an embarrassment. Chrissy, I know that you don't know how these things work because you just show your tits and you think that that's that. I probably should have not been wearing 3 layers of shirt when I was there. I probably should have just like done like this. And that would have been it would have been much less embarrassing if I had just, shown my tits and talked in a voice. Yeah, Don Bulldog, I just don't understand why Don Bulldog supports the war. I just don't understand why Don Bulldog wants to go to war with Russia and Ukraine at the same time. Tulsi, can you explain, Tulsi, why yeah, I know you were I'm pretty sure you were a Democrat and now you're not a Democrat, but can you explain why you support the war and going to fight China and Russia at the same time? Am I getting that right? Would that be less embarrassing? For the record, for anyone that is far more intelligent than everyone on this panel except for Elijah, this entire thing was planned out beforehand. I executed on a strategy. It may not have been perfect. We were really hoping to, what we were hoping was going to happen was that we would be able to politely ask Tulsi Gabbard in a moderated tone of voice why she was supporting a war hawk. Now, because Tulsi Gabbard wasn't brave enough to actually answer questions about why she supports a war hawk, when we approached her to ask this question, she literally turned and ran out of the building. And I happened to be in the best position to yell at her, Tulsi, why are you endorsing a war hawk? As she was running out of the building. This was all planned beforehand. And Chrissy, there was a documentary film crew following us when it was planned beforehand. So eventually, this might be in a documentary that we planned this beforehand. How fucking stupid are you? This is hang on. I was wearing that same hoodie as I'm wearing now, just with a t-shirt over it. Hang on. This is so embarrassing for libertarians. It's so embarrassing. If Karlyn had just worn a low-cut top and talked in a voice like this, it would have been much better. It would have been much less embarrassing. I'm pretty sure that's how I'm supposed to be an influencer.
She's fatter than I expected. I don't know if you guys have been following this woman at all.
Well, she was wearing like 4 layers of clothing, Chrissy, but I'm so thrilled that your first super intelligent comment is about my weight. Because you really have nothing else to say than that. My God. Guys, I'm learning on my journey to becoming an influencer that I'm going to really need to hit the gym. I'm learning that being an influencer on the internet is really about how much I weigh and if my tits look good in a low-cut top. And I'm just going to have to give up all of those hours that I spend reading and looking into things and explaining and actually teaching how the woke left has taken over everything. I know that that's important, but what's really, 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 really important is that I go to the gym and that CHRISSIE MAYR has final sign off and approval over how I look. That's really what's important. I mean, I know it's winter. We just had our first snow today in New Hampshire. I know I won't be able to wear low-cut tops for a long time, but I'm gonna go to Target tomorrow, and I'm gonna get a lot of low-cut tops because I have to be prepared for when I go to the gym, and just so I can get Chrissy's approval on my outfit and my weight. And it's not as though we were actually trying to do something important, like influence the outcome of a senatorial election. It's not as though, I mean, I don't even really know what the Senate is. Like, I know that they go to DC, and I mean, they probably go to a lot of parties, right? They drink whiskey and smoke cigars and go to parties. I don't really know what senators do, but I just don't think I think that going to the gym is far more important than influencing the outcome of a senatorial election. It's 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 way more important than making sure a warmonger doesn't get elected to Senate. Because really, does the Senate even have anything to do with war? Does the Senate really do they have anything to do with the war? I don't even think that Congress declares war, really. So yeah, they probably, like, it wasn't really that important because Karlyn is just so fat. So fat. Am I doing that right? I did it! I did it! Thank you, Phil. I did it. Yes, Reed Coverdale wasn't. Fucking Reed Coverdale was the one who was supposed to yell. Reed Coverdale was supposed to be the one asking questions, and I even, like, when I came out of the door and saw Tulsi starting to run out of the building, I even looked back at Reed. I was like, "Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it?" I was not supposed to be the one yelling. That was not the plan. I need to take this hoodie off so I can pull my shirt down proper, just so I can really, like, show my tits, apparently. Maybe we'll get there later.
I've
But
only seen it because of Carrie talking about it on Twitter.
I
Oh, wait. Carrie talked about me on Twitter? Carrie Carrie Smith would never talk about me on Twitter. Carrie Carrie Smith is under a strict no contact regime. And oh, hang on. Sorry. Carrie Smith is under a strict no contact regime with Karlyn because, you see, Karlyn is a narcissist, and Carrie has now received expert advice from a real narcissist that told her that she needed to go no contact with Karlyn. And I don't really know what no contact means because I wasn't it took too long for Carrie to explain it to me, and I'm not actually really sure Carrie understood it, but I know that it's not possible that Carrie was talking about Karlyn on Twitter because Carrie's not supposed to say anything about Karlyn under the strict no contact regime that was explained to her for how to deal with a narcissist. I must have been hallucinating when I thought that I saw that video from Carrie sharing this video of Karlyn executing a plan that was concocted by the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, because they're just so embarrassing. So embarrassing. So, I mean, Reed definitely needs to, Reed really needs to lose a few pounds. He could use he could definitely lose a few as well. He's just getting, a little belly, just a little.
think she just exists to create chaos. Like, I just don't feel
She seems a little bit mentally unstable, and you see that a lot. Where
I'm mentally unstable.
The internet then gives platforms to people who are,
I'm mentally
not
unstable.
necessarily all
Elijah's not
there
having
in
any
the
of this.
head, and their whole lives are just them having fucking breakdowns online.
You know when I had a breakdown? You know when I had a breakdown? The last time I had a breakdown was when I had to go and do my job and open the gym at 4 a.m. for those stupid old people. Can you believe those people were that old? Can you believe it? That was when I had a breakdown. I had to do my job at 4 a.m.
And freaking out.
Oh.
I used to do that, but ironically, it was real fun.
I'm fairly certain she doesn't
Having
know what
mental
the word
breakdowns on the
ironic
internet
means.
can be really funny. Like you just
Never
react
had
to
one.
chat. You overreact. You just like overreact to like everything someone says.
Like opening the gym.
Like, oh my
at
God.
4
Did you ever do fake tears, Brittany?
a.m.?
Because you do fake crying.
Yes, all the time. Like,
That's
See,
but
impressive.
This
but I
is
would
a
like
perfect.
You know what? It's definitely not insane or overreacting to do fake crying when I'm asked to do something I don't want to do. That's not mentally unhinged at all. You know what it is? Some might say that using fake crying and fake tears it might be narcissistic. Some might say that because I'm really only using fake tears because that's all I have to get what I want. That and my tits. That's all I really have to get what I want. I feel like I'm getting some really good influencer tips tonight. So the influencer tips that I'm getting are number one important thing is I need to lose weight to get up to CHRISSIE MAYR standards. I'm going to have to change my whole schedule, get into a regime. I'm going to have to not ask Senate candidates why they support the war. I'm going to have to cry fake tears to get what I want because I can't use my brain if I'm being an influencer. I can only use my tits and my fake women's tears, my white women's tears, if you will. I'm going to have to get like a lot of like tank tops with spaghetti straps and baby doll skirts because I'm going to go to the gym to lose all this weight that CHRISSIE MAYR just so desperately, disapproves of. And there's just like, that's how I'm and I had to talk in a voice like this. And I have to talk slow and soft because we don't want to offend anyone. I have to say a lot. I feel like I'm getting some good influencer tips. Have I missed any influencer tips? Let me know in the chat. This is fun.
For example,
character.
Amarith is lying. This is some fake tears up in there.
What did you call her? What did you call her?
Amarith. What's her name?
Amaranth.
Amarath. Either way, I think she's beautiful. And in my ideal world, it's actually like her and her husband put this together so that they could like roll around in money.
We're
So,
back
I
on
mean,
Amaranth.
That
Can you
would be
replay it?
better.
Yeah.
sorry, you guys. I'm sorry I went back.
It's okay.
Elijah
It's okay.
isn't saying anything.
You're really not a Kelsey Gabbard supporter. No, she's not a Kelsey Gabbard supporter.
I didn't even yell.
You're a player. You're not a Kelsey Gabbard.
Hang on. I have a serious question. Was I yelling in that video? Because I really feel like I'm talking at the same level that I was now, but my voice was echoey because of the environment. Was I yelling in that video? Or was I talking like I talk normal? Like, not like normal, like if we were sitting and having a coffee, but like normal, like on YouTube. I feel like I wasn't talking any differently on there than I do on here. Am I wrong? Bot says I wasn't yelling, and Bot watches a lot of my content. Yeah, I was projecting because it was loud and I needed them to hear me because they were actually yelling at me. I only yelled that I was voting for Jeremy Kauffman because I got tired of being yelled at by 3 Republican men. Alexandra says that's not yelling. Gray Catman agrees. I was not yelling. I was not yelling. I was definitely not yelling. I was assertive, not yelling. Yeah, it's like, sometimes it's hard because sometimes it's just impossible not to pull things out of context to make it look like we want it to look, to demonize people on the internet because it's all we can do. Yeah, Alexandra has heard me yell. That is not yelling. Vampire King Darkness says you were just talking normal. They'll say you were yelling because they're very nice and smart people that know way more than this fat bitch libertarian in New Hampshire. I don't know why you would say such a thing, Vampire King Darkness. They're very nice people.
Yeah, she's a plant, man. You're a plant.
I did look really fat. For the record, I did look really fat because I was wearing 4 fucking layers of clothes.
Why is she fighting? Why is Karlyn fighting?
Because they were yelling at me, Elijah.
Who is she fighting?
She's fighting her fellow voters.
Yeah, I don't understand because wasn't Karlyn Democrat and then she went pro-Trump and then she said that Republicans were bad and then she went
she did walk away.
Tulsi and then she did walk away. I don't understand her political leanings at all, but I know she's a nice person in person.
Thank you,
Really?
Elijah.
I met her and
met
she's
her?
very nice. Yeah,
Thank
she was
you,
really
Elijah.
cool to me.
Wow.
She was
Okay.
she was knitting and she was.
I've never heard
Like,
that from anyone.
I laughed because she talked about there being drama and political drama in the knitting community, and I never heard that before in my entire
And
life.
you were like,
There's-
knitter, please.
Well, yeah, I said that's all the knitters are out of control, and so I never realized that there was drama everywhere.
See, that
and
was
I
really
just,
underrated.
Would the knitters ever like loot a Wawa or something like that?
No,
Or
Christy, we
Those are
wouldn't.
just young-
Christy.
only
in the
young
airport?
knitters. Young people knitting.
Sometimes they think I'm on Compound Media. All right. That was fun.
Thank
No,
you, CS Hollywood. I
know
appreciate
I've seen
that.
Compound Media. It's
If
way
we were on
more
Compound Media,
extreme.
this rant would go another 5 minutes.
Typical knitting behavior.
If Gina was here, it would get taken down off YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. The more I sort of see and hear her, the more I'm like, she would rather just be in the spotlight at all times.
No,
Than have a clear political position. She's just like,
it's like the person that is the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire nominee doesn't have a clear political position. Could she be a libertarian? Is she a libertarian? Does she have in her Twitter bio that she's a libertarian? She was the I know what Karlyn's clear political position is. She's a libertarian. I know, I got it. I'm so sorry. It was so hard. It was so hard to get to this place. It basically took calculus to understand that the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire nominee for governor is a libertarian. It was just really unclear, guys. I'm sorry. It just took I was too busy working out and I had to run an extra 4 miles today on the treadmill, or my husband would tell me what he thought of me. I couldn't. I'm sorry. My brain was foggy and I was so busy putting on makeup and making sure that I had the right bra to make my tits look really good tonight that it was really hard to tell that the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire nominee for governor is a libertarian. It was just very unclear to me. I just wasn't paying attention.
I feel like she bounces around a lot and then claims to be victimized by one political party, moves on.
No. I have never been victimized by a political party, Chrissy. I have been targeted for harassment by cunts like you who have nothing better to do with your life than simp for money on the internet by showing off your boobs. Let's just be very clear here. And for those who might be new to me, I've been a member of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire since April of 2021. I have not flinched since then, and I'm not going anywhere. So it's actually really clear. It's really clear to anyone who's actually bothered to educate themselves. I was a Democrat for a long time, found out the Democrats sucked. Then I was an independent. Then I was a Republican for 15 minutes to troll Lauren Witzke, another internet cunt. And then I became a libertarian, and there I will stay for the foreseeable future unless something goes horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. But I wouldn't say that's jumping around. I would say that's realizing very quickly what disingenuous bitches conservative women are and moving on to something better.
She make 1.7 million on OnlyFans too.
No, and I think we all know why. Yeah.
God, I wish I was making 1.7 million. Jesus.
Right.
I'd retire in
Wait, am I when I lose weight, I'm supposed to start OnlyFans when I lose weight? Because that's certainly something to be proud of and doesn't sound unhinged at all.
a year. It'd
Me
be amazing.
too.
Ugh.
Me too.
No, you wouldn't. You might get addicted to it. You might just be like,
Maybe
so much money, and I need like 5.
I should have my
airports.
own political party.
5 that's a lot of
I'm
airports.
kidding.
I don't know. The more I get I just want to do what I enjoy. So if I was given the opportunity to have that much money that I could literally just do what I want to do.
Okay, you know what? Actually, I saw this interview with Kanye West, and he said, and I like this, I want to be so influential that I could go anywhere in the world and I wouldn't even need money because people would just be like, I like what you do. You don't even have to pay to be here. You're just that influential. Does that make sense?
Apparently, are they supposed to be
Yeah.
conservative?
Yeah.
Like Elijah's a conservative. Well, Elijah doesn't. I don't think Elijah still considers himself a
calling
conservative.
You know,
But he's on the right.
basically an internet prostitute. Like, do you
A little bit. It's not that bad. And you just mute them or block them. I don't know. I don't
Wait, is
really
she a
care
porn
about their
star?
opinions, especially because oftentimes they're wrong.
Wait, is she a porn
They
star?
make a lot of weird assumptions about you in your life.
that for
And a
real?
lot of the sex workers that I know, because obviously I know a lot, they have completely normal, healthy, at-home lives, relationships where their life is very normal at home. And they just do this thing online out there, and it's a job. And then they get off and they go have dinner with their husbands and go to the beach on the weekends. For some reason, I think a lot of people get this view in their mind of it's this really sort of intense lifestyle where there's a bunch of swinging. And I'm sure that happens to some extent, but I haven't seen any of it. And I don't know any of those people. It's mostly just regular people that do that as a job, and then they have their regular lives. They have kids.
I have to disagree with the specific part where you said that they're normal outside of the one thing. I think that's actually what kind of adds that sort of.
So I just want to add. So I know I have some new subscribers lately, and welcome. And if you're still learning about me, like yeah, boy, Oni, so I actually did a stream about that Dawn Bulldog debate specifically, where I did talk about kind of the same things we touched on here. My views. I mean, I'm deadly serious when I say I'm a libertarian. I don't care. Just for people who might be new, the reason I became a libertarian is because I was lobbying for a bill in New Hampshire to ban critical race theory in schools. And I was working with a couple state reps in New Hampshire for that. And at that point, this was, I'd walked away from the Democratic Party after 20 years. I was an independent basically for a year. I was flirting with the Republican Party, but I wasn't really happy with the Republican Party. And the final nail in the straw, in the coffin for me, for that was that it was the libertarians who were supporting the bill that I cared about, which was banning critical race theory in schools. And the Republicans weren't doing it, and the Republicans were in fact sabotaging it. And so I had kind of a come to Jesus with my future with the Republican Party. I started hanging out with the libertarians and basically realized that's where I belonged all along. I don't care what you do with your life. I don't care how you live your life. Unlike CHRISSIE MAYR, I really don't care how much you weigh. It makes no difference. What you do is your business. Just don't hurt me or steal my stuff. And I don't care if you want to be a communist on your own little commune in the state of Vermont. It makes no difference to me at all. And that to me is what being a libertarian really is. It's a live and let live philosophy about voluntarism, where you enter into voluntary agreements with people and you're not obligated to do anything. You're not a slave to anyone else. And that's where I feel like I fit in. And that's it. And I don't know, I really do have a hard time understanding why this is so difficult for people like CHRISSIE MAYR to understand. Like, I think the Republicans are authoritarian. I don't think they're any different than Democrats. I'm sorry. I think the Democrats are authoritarian. I don't think they're any different than Republicans. I think that both Republicans and Democrats want to use the power of the state to legislate their political values. I've been very clear on this. I know that CHRISSIE is probably just not smart enough to understand any of this. If I'm honest, I was trying to think of a more witty way to say that so that I wasn't really calling her a dumb bitch. But, you know, that's how I feel about it. I don't believe in any of the major two parties. I think a third party needs to rise. I have said that a lot. I think the Republican Party generally sucks anyway, and is really doing themselves in more than anything else. And so that's where I am right now. And if you're not a libertarian, I don't really care. It is entirely up to you. But you're not going to force your values on me, and that's just the way it's going to go.